Sup, and welcome to another Library Chess Productions movie review. This time I'm going to be reviewing Batman Ninja, an animated Batman movie that just came out. And I know what you're thinking. Avengers Infinity War is coming out this week. That's if you're watching this, as soon as it's uploaded. But DC has a trick up their sleeve. This is a movie that's going to kill the MCU, that's going to kill all the hype for Infinity War. I'm joking, of course, but you know what? I actually tend to like Batman animated movies. Now, DC has kind of been a little crappy in this regard. Like, they've released some and they've been okay. Occasionally they strike gold, and I gotta be honest, with Batman Ninja, they've struck gold. But first, a basic plot synopsis. The movie begins with Batman fighting Gorilla Grodd in Gotham City. But Batman is caught in the Quake engine machine and transported back to Feudal Japan. Yep, that's right, a time-traveling Batman movie. And from there, he basically has to fight the Joker and some other members of his rogue gallery, so nothing new in that regard. But, it's Batman, he does what he does. And it's actually a pretty cool premise. He gets transported back to feudal Japan, he loses all his gadgets, the things that, he's been fighting crime with for years, and he has to kind of adapt to the situation and learn the old ways and use them to combat his rogues gallery in a different way that he's just not used to. And for the most part, the story is told pretty solidly. There's some hokey dialogue that could have maybe used a little more polish. And the voice acting, Tony Hale as the Joker, he's amazing. He's one of the better animated Jokers I think that we've seen. I don't know who voiced Batman, but he was okay. Passable, I guess is what I can say. And the rest of them, they're decent too, but really Tony Hale is the star when it comes to the voice acting. And it's kind of a shame that it's, the voice acting isn't more stellar the whole way around and that the dialogue is a little bit forced, because everything else about this movie is fantastic. They brought together some of the visionary directors and artists in manga and anime and whatnot, and it really shows in the visual aesthetic of Batman Ninja. This is a beautiful movie. The character and costume design is excellent. I just loved looking at it. I could have just stared at it all day. And the animation in general is incredibly smooth and fluid, and it's full-blown anime. It's not this dark, broody Batman, which, to be honest, I'm a fan of. I'm not a big campy Batman fan, so I like dark and broody, but this is just straight anime. It's the battles, they move in they move in a very unnatural way, but it's awesome because, I don't need him to be realistic, because Batman isn't realistic, so and that's what I kind of love about animated Batman, especially, is that they can kind of get away with that more than live action does. Like Batman vs. Superman, there was scenes where Batman moves a little bit unrealistically and people didn't like it. I did like it because it felt more like a comic. But they can get away with it here, and it's just a feast for the eyes watching how this is animated. And there's there's a part rather that it switches to a different style altogether, a more of an old-fashioned style. I'm not going to say why or whatever, but I love the playfulness of it, and I love how it's willing to just kind of flip everything on its head when it wants to, which only ties into the fact that this is an insane movie. I don't want to spoil a thing about it, but it is Japanese anime through and through, and I'm watching it, and I'm not getting a Batman experience like I've ever experienced before, at least in movies. And I got lost in the craziness of it, and I just really started to enjoy myself. I love when a Batman movie is kind of more emotional and really touches on the darker, deeper themes, but this doesn't really do that. I mean, there's a few speeches here and there that kind of touch on something, but basically this is a movie. I mean, it's called Batman Ninja. It's kind of a silly title, and it's kind of a silly movie. The jokes don't always work. There's a few attempts at comedy there, but one joke got me. But yeah, it's just exciting to watch because you don't really know what's gonna happen. And this all leads to the finale, which again won't say anything. I really wish I could, but it is a battle. It's probably going to be one of my favorite battles of the year, I imagine, because it was so beautiful. Every frame was just perfect. The fight choreography was just astounding. It was a little unpredictable in the way they balanced it was perfect because you didn't quite know what was going to happen. I guess ultimately you know what's going to happen because it's a Batman movie, but it still had me on the edge of my seat. And while I don't think that it's a perfect movie by any means, I am so happy when a good animated Batman movie comes out, because as a guy that likes comics and probably reads them more than a more casual fan does, but doesn't read them nearly as much as like a big comic book fan does, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's really nothing better than a well-told Batman story. And he's not necessarily my favorite character. He's just a complex character, and he's kind of more relatable because he's not super powered, although that's, debatable, obviously. So yeah, you want to know what I think about Batman Ninja? Well, I'm going to give it the business. But this is actually really close to being worthy of I quoted on the Daily, because this is probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of the year so far. So this is a very strong give it the business. I mean, it just came out, so you can just rent it or buy it or whatever, and just enjoy the bombastic, ridiculous nature of this pretty original Batman tale. So that's what I think, but as always, I'm going to pass it over to Castle to end the video. So here it is, the best bunny critic in the business. See ya. Alright, little fella, give us the truth. You're right as always, here. Yeah.